Hello, and welcome to the Citizen Compass Newsroom. Today's news: the Molina mold, possible origins and consequences. The year 2956 has not begun well for the already weakened People's Alliance of Levski. For years, indeed for decades, the Alliance has struggled with dwindling resources and the constant pressure of Vanduul incursions along the borders of the Nix system. Its infrastructure has been aging, its population fluctuating, and its political influence gradually eroding. And now, on top of all these long-standing challenges, a full-blown crisis has erupted, killing countless citizens and placing even greater strain on the fragile foundations of the People's Alliance. In times of crisis, fear spreads quickly. When societies are destabilized, people often lash out, searching desperately for someone or something to blame. So, who is responsible for the Molina mold? Was it the result of poor maintenance and internal neglect? Or does it point toward a darker corporate scheme, or even a coordinated UE plot? Let us examine the evidence and explore the possible origins of the Molina mold crisis. Molina mold, theories of a UE or corporate plot. Let's start with the most controversial theory, that the Molina mold crisis was deliberately engineered as part of a UE or corporate scheme designed to destabilize the People's Alliance and pave the way for outside control of the Nix system. Many of these theories center around the unauthorized terraforming project on Nix-1. For centuries, Nix had been considered unsuitable for colonization. Yet recent efforts have aimed at transforming Nix-1 from a barren rock into a lush, habitable world, the first viable planetary body in the system. This project has sparked renewed interest within the UE Senate, which has, for the first time, discussed potential colonization of Nix. However, any official colonization effort would require addressing the political reality that the People's Alliance already occupies and administers the system. This has fueled speculation. What if the Molina mold is not natural at all, but instead part of a coordinated effort to destabilize Levski? Some theorists point to the ASD incidents, in which the Advanced Systems and Defense Agency was implicated in illegal and covert projects involving bioengineering research. Although these experiments were officially condemned and labeled as rogue operations, skeptics question whether corruption at higher levels of the UE government allowed such programs to flourish. Could ASD have engineered a biological agent disguised as a mold outbreak? Could the Molina mold be a weaponized epidemic? Further suspicion arises from reports of Vanduul tech smugglers supplying ASD with alien technology. Some speculate that these smuggling operations not only sought to reverse engineer Vanduul systems, but may also have indirectly encouraged Vanduul incursions into Nix, further destabilizing the region. Other outlets, such as Fast Forecast, claim to have whistleblowers alleging that the Molina mold bears the hallmarks of a terraforming biodual. They argue that the mold does not appear to originate from soil, water, or wildlife, but rather emerges from ventilation systems, suggesting artificial distribution. Additionally, questions have been raised about the rapid deployment of the Alliance Aid Relief Program. The scale and preparedness of the response have led some to speculate whether authorities had prior knowledge of an impending crisis. Debunking some of the theories. While these theories are compelling, most lack substantive evidence. It is true that the UE has shown renewed interest in Nix, largely due to the terraforming project on Nix-1. However, that project remains incomplete. Senate discussions have been preliminary and inconclusive. No formal colonization initiative has been launched. Moreover, Nix presents significant strategic complications. It's already inhabited by the People's Alliance and populated by various criminal factions. Politically and militarily, it is unstable. Crucially, it lies directly along the Vanduul frontier. The UE is currently engaged in full-scale war with the Vanduul, having already lost multiple border systems, including ancient and heavily developed colonies. In this context, establishing a new colony directly adjacent to hostile territory would be a highly questionable strategic decision. If anything, rather than colonize the system, it would much rather be in the UE's interest to ensure the stability of it first as a border system between it and the Vanduul. Taking over a system is one way to do it, but perhaps it's easier to renew relations with an old rival and send help to stabilize them, as the UE has done via the Alliance Aid or Intersec. Regarding the Alliance Aid program, maintaining stockpiles of relief supplies is standard emergency protocol and not pre-planned with knowledge of impending crisis. Humanitarian agencies do not wait for disasters to occur before preparing resources. Rapid response does not necessarily imply prior knowledge, it reflects logistical readiness. The most likely causes of the Molina mold. So what then caused the Molina mold? The simplest explanation is often the correct one: a faulty ventilation filter. Mold requires moisture and organic material to thrive. A poorly maintained ventilation system can accumulate dust, humidity, and debris, creating ideal conditions for fungal growth. Given Levski aging infrastructure and chronic maintenance issues, this explanation aligns with existing structural weaknesses. However, corporate responsibility cannot be dismissed. The ventilation filters were manufactured by Jysons Incorporated, a company known for recurring quality control failures. Jysons produces a wide range of goods at low cost, but has repeatedly faced criticism over product reliability. Why would Levski purchase from such a supplier? The likely answer is financial constraint. With limited resources and increasing external pressures, the People's Alliance may have opted for the most affordable available option. In doing so, they may have compromised on quality, unintentionally setting the stage for disaster. Consequences. In a sense, some theories contain partial truth. Corporations are indeed implicated, not through deliberate sabotage, but through cost-cutting and insufficient quality control. Corporate greed, rather than grand conspiracy, may be the root cause. As of now, no formal consequences have been announced for Jysons Incorporated. Should investigations stall, especially amid broader corruption allegations within the UE Senate, it would further strain relations between the UE and the People's Alliance. Perhaps the massive amount of help with the Alliance aid is just a way to cover up the UE's failings in fighting corporate greed. Distrust, though reduced over the past century, has never fully disappeared. The Alliance has been forced to request assistance, from military support against Vanduul raids to humanitarian aid during the mold crisis, despite its long-standing skepticism toward megacorporations and centralized authority. For the People's Alliance, the consequences are immediate and tangible. Another crisis has weakened it further. NICS, once a quiet border system, has become a strategic hotspot attracting external actors and competing interests. The people of Levski now find themselves in a difficult position, fearful, distrustful, yet dependent on the aid of those they suspect. While we have debunked many of the more extreme theories, it would be naive to assume that no external actors are maneuvering behind the scenes. The Molina mold may not be a calculated attempt to evict the Alliance, but NICS is unlikely to return to peace and obscurity anytime soon. The system has entered a new era of uncertainty. Thank you for listening. See you next time.